I think it would mean the world, really. It would mean the world to this city, and I think it would mean the world to Kyle. I also know that he wants that, but he also wants what comes with that at the end of it, the journey, the championship there. So just in small talks I've had with Kyle about it, and there's a lot of emotion that goes into that because of all the blood, sweat, and tears he's put in, his family has put into this city and this team, and the hours that he spends here trying to perform at a very high level for so many years. So there is an emotion tied to that. Yeah. It's hard not to be or not to gravitate towards a guy like Kyle because of who he is as a person, more so than anything. I've had I would call professionally close relationships with quite a few of the players I've been around. I've been fortunate to be around, and Kyle no different. And he's a special individual. Plays the game a certain type of way that really endears himself to me in terms of, or just the way he plays. It's just, how could you not like the way he plays and appreciate that, right? And the way he carries himself when he's off the field. To me, it's a great example of how you do it. He is. It's another great story, right? Just in terms of happens all the time in this business where people are told they're not good enough, they're not worthy, and a great story of how if you work hard and you continue to believe in yourself, that good things happen, and good things happen to good people as well, and he's earned that.
Part of that bond that you're kind of talking about.
Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams.
He's got the control of the power switch with him right now also.
He would be embarrassed about this conversation.
He would be. It's hard not to talk to Kyle because he's quite often trying to get my attention to tell me something that, basically hold me accountable, right? I'll say that just to keep it PC right now. He's a fun guy to be around. He keeps things light. The great part about Kyle, one of the great things about Kyle is he knows how to flip the switch, though, in terms of not with the lights, but more so just when it's time to get serious, he can take it to another level, which the great ones can. I think it would be a step, really, Jerry. I know emotionally, I'll just take that separately for a second, what it means to the people of this great city, and there's a lot that goes along with that. The part of building this team the right way, this would be a step. And, as we continue to build and grow and build that solid foundation, changing the culture, changing the belief, we're heading in the right direction. It would be a step as we continue to grow.
There's talk, well, it'll be harder to cut X, Y, Z if they make the playoffs. That would be a bad look. How much truth is there that the sentiment that would come if certain players got you to the playoffs that you might think you have to move on?
Well, we evaluate everything, and so you don't evaluate things just in a vacuum, one thing over another thing. You have to, at the end of the day, do what's right for the team, and that's what we've done since the time we've been here, and we'll continue to do that responsibly moving forward. Probably more so than anything, and you're right, is just with the fact of because if you see teams make it one year and don't make it the next year. One of the great lessons I learned from the Super Bowl year coming out of Carolina, going into the next season, was that culture from one year to another year, teams from one year to another year, are almost separate entities. Even though you'd like to be able to say that there's carryover, you want there to be carryover. It's not guaranteed, though, that there's carryover from a culture standpoint, from a performance standpoint. That's why what we do in that off season, the roster moves we make or don't make, are so important to our future success in building upon what we did in this first year. And so that's kind of a science in and of itself right there. Our sports science department does a great job with that. They've put in the time to research it, so I follow their lead, and we'll be well organized. I can guarantee you that. The culture's huge to me in terms of one of the first steps you try and establish. One of the first things, the boxes you try and check. Easier said than done, though, and it starts with people. People in our building, and then also the players in the locker room. We've tried, as you guys have seen. I remember standing up here in free agency and one press conference after another of talking about the character of the players that we were bringing in, as well as the drafted players. And so you see that's really how it starts to get going in the right direction in terms of the culture is when it's so much driven by people, whether it's players or other staff members, coaches, people in our marketing department, ticketing. It's really a people-driven type of part of an ingredient of success, really, in terms of the culture, and you got to have that, in my opinion, before sometimes you get the results on the field. The belief comes before the results at times.
Do you think that?
I wouldn't say it doesn't. I would say it certainly helps. To have a talented football team is one thing. To have a team that plays well together is another thing. Whether that team is highly talented or not, I think that in the great teams I've been around, the Super Bowl teams, some of those were talented, yes. More than that, they had great chemistry, and the culture leads to great chemistry. I think it has, and we've got some guys on our staff. We were talking about this the other evening that are first year. Some of the younger coaches are first year NFL guys. They've come from college or what have you, and I had asked them the same question: has it gone fast? Because typically your first year doesn't go fast because it's a long season that way, in particular if you're coming from college. As a head coach, it's the first year is always the first year, whatever job there is. In this case, for me, the head coaching job, it's gone fast. It really has. It's flown by. It's been challenging, and I've loved it, every minute of it. And it's been fun to watch our building hang together, as you've heard me say before. And that's part of building our culture is being able to sustain that through one season and another season, and that's the great part of it that tells me we're heading in the right direction.